I'm Dr. Michael Harrison, and today I want to share something that could genuinely transform the way you age. After 40 years of treating patients, I thought I had seen it all. But what I discovered about Japanese morning rituals stopped me in my tracks and made me completely rethink what I tell my patients about healthy aging. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a 93-year-old woman in Okinawa, Japan, effortlessly tending her garden at sunrise. She bends to pull weeds, reaches overhead to prune branches, and moves with the flexibility and strength of someone decades younger. This is not a rare exception. In Japan, this is remarkably common. People there routinely live past 100 with mental sharpness and physical capability that would astonish most Western physicians, including me. For years, I attributed Japanese longevity to genetics and diet, but recent research has forced me to reconsider everything I thought I knew. What if Japanese elders have been quietly practicing morning rituals that science is now proving can add not just years to your life, but life to your years? A landmark study from Tokyo University, published in 2023, tracked over 5,000 adults above 60 for 15 years. The findings were remarkable. Those who followed specific traditional morning practices showed 47% less muscle loss, 62% better cognitive function, and lived an average of 8.3 years longer than those who did not follow these practices. Let me repeat that. 8 years of additional life, not just any life, but healthy, active, independent life. Now here is what caught my attention as a physician. These are not expensive supplements or complicated medical procedures. They are simple rituals passed down through generations that take less than 2 hours each morning. The most powerful one, which I will reveal as number one on our list, involves a practice so simple that researchers initially dismissed it as coincidence. But when they measured cellular aging markers, they found it literally reversed biological age by up to 12 years. When a Harvard Medical School team verified these findings, they called it one of the most significant anti-aging discoveries of the decade. Before I retired, I spent countless hours with patients who were desperate to maintain their independence as they aged. They did not want to become burdens on their families. They wanted to stay sharp, stay strong, and stay in their own homes. If I had known about this research then, I would have shared it with every single one of them. Now I am sharing it with you. I want to be clear before we dive in. While I am a physician sharing evidence-based information, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice from your own doctor, who knows your specific health history. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. That said, let us get into it. I am going to walk you through 7 morning rituals, counting down from number 7 to number 1, saving the most powerful discovery for last. Each of these practices has solid research behind it, and together they create what Japanese elders call a morning of intention. Number 7 is what Japanese call Misum no Jan, which translates to the time of awakening, but I prefer to call it the art of slow rise awakening. I want to tell you about someone I will call Richard. Now, Richard is like many of the patients I saw over the years. He was 68, a retired engineer, married for 43 years, and living what should have been a comfortable retirement. Richard came to see me because he kept having dizzy spells in the morning. He would wake up to his alarm, swing his legs out of bed, stand up, and the room would spin. His wife was terrified he would fall and break a hip. That fear of losing independence, of becoming a burden, I heard it almost every day. And the truth is, Richard had reason to be concerned. Most of us jolt awake to harsh alarms and immediately check our phones or rush to start our day. But Japanese elders do something completely different. Instead of jumping out of bed, they remain lying down for 3 to 5 minutes with their eyes closed, taking deep breaths and mentally preparing for the day. During this time, they gently flex their ankles and wrists, rotate their joints, and stretch while still under the covers. Here is what the research actually shows. A 2022 study from Kyoto Prefecture University found that people over 60 who practiced this gradual awakening method had 34% lower morning blood pressure spikes compared to those who got up immediately. Now, this matters enormously because blood pressure spikes in the morning are one of the leading causes of strokes in older adults. The researchers discovered that this gentle transition allows cortisol levels to rise naturally rather than spike suddenly, which protects your cardiovascular system. Here is how to practice this properly. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier than usual. When you wake, keep your eyes closed and take 10 deep breaths, inhaling through your nose for 4 counts and exhaling through your mouth for 6 counts. Then, while still lying down, point and flex your feet 10 times. Make fists and release them 10 times. Gently turn your head from side to side 5 times. Finally, sit up slowly, place your feet on the floor, and sit on the edge of your bed for another 30 seconds before standing. This entire process activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which controls rest and digestion, before engaging your sympathetic system, which controls activity. The result is better balance, reduced morning dizziness, and improved energy throughout the day. When I taught this to Richard, his dizzy spells disappeared within 2 weeks. His wife called me crying with relief. Now we are moving into something that might surprise you about Japanese bathroom habits. Number 6 is what they call kaosun, a cold water face immersion protocol. Every morning after their gentle awakening, Japanese elders practice a specific face washing technique using cold water that goes far beyond basic hygiene. They fill a bowl with cold water, usually around 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and immerse their entire face for 3 to 5 seconds, repeating this 3 times. Between each immersion, they massage their face with their fingertips in circular motions for 30 seconds. I know what you might be thinking. Cold water on my face first thing in the morning? Let me explain why this works. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Gerontology followed 800 Japanese adults over 65 who practiced this cold water immersion technique. The results were stunning. Participants showed 28% better skin elasticity, 41% fewer wrinkles, and most surprisingly, improved cognitive function scores by an average of 19%. The cold water triggers something called the mammalian dive reflex, which immediately shifts blood flow to protect vital organs and floods the brain with oxygen. This daily activation strengthens the vagus nerve, which controls everything from heart rate to digestion to immune function. The facial massage between immersions stimulates lymphatic drainage, reducing morning puffiness and removing toxins that accumulate during sleep. To get maximum benefits, the water temperature is crucial. Too cold, below 50 degrees, can cause blood vessels to constrict too severely. Too warm, above 65 degrees, will not trigger the beneficial reflexes. Fill a large bowl with water and add a few ice cubes if needed to reach the right temperature. Take a normal breath, not a deep one, before each immersion. This prevents hyperventilation. After your 3 immersions, pat your face dry with a soft towel using upward motions, never rubbing harshly. The entire process takes less than 3 minutes, but provides benefits that last all day. Now here is the part most people miss. This next ritual involves something you might already have in your kitchen, but you are probably not using it correctly. Number 5 is what I call the fermented soybean breakfast revolution. The Japanese food is called natto. Natto has been a Japanese breakfast staple for over 1,000 years. These are fermented soybeans that might be the most underrated superfood on the planet. Every morning, millions of Japanese elders eat a small bowl of these sticky, stringy beans that many Westerners find challenging due to their unique texture and smell. I will be honest with you, the first time I tried natto, I almost gave up after one bite. But here is what made me persist. Natto contains the highest concentration of vitamin K2 of any food on Earth, with one serving providing over 700 micrograms. A massive 2023 study involving 12,000 Japanese adults over 60 found that those who ate natto at least 4 times per week had 73% stronger bones, 58% less arterial calcification, and remarkably, 36% lower rates of Alzheimer's disease. The secret lies in an enzyme called nattokinase, which literally dissolves blood clots and arterial plaque. In laboratory tests, nattokinase has been shown to break down fibrin, the protein that forms clots, more effectively than many pharmaceutical blood thinners. I want to pause here and remind you, I am not suggesting you change any medications or treatments without speaking to your prescribing physician. What I am sharing today may inform a conversation with your doctor, but any changes should only be made under their guidance. Timing and preparation matter enormously with natto. Japanese elders always eat it at room temperature, never heated, because heat destroys the beneficial enzymes. They typically mix it with a small amount of soy sauce and mustard, then stir it vigorously with chopsticks 40 to 50 times until it becomes frothy and develops long, stretchy strands. This stirring action activates the enzymes and makes them more bioavailable. They eat it with warm rice, which provides resistant starch that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. The combination creates a synergistic effect that multiplies the benefits. If you cannot find fresh natto, frozen works just as well. Thaw it overnight in the refrigerator and let it come to room temperature for 30 minutes before eating. Start with just 1 tablespoon, if you are new to it, as the powerful enzymes can cause mild digestive changes initially. Work up to a standard serving of 40 to 50 grams over 2 weeks. This next practice might seem too simple to be powerful, but the science will genuinely surprise you. Number 4 is what the Japanese call asa no hikari, meaning morning light, and I call it the 10-minute morning sunlight bath. Japanese elders treat their daily sunlight exposure with the same importance as taking medication. Between 7 and 9 in the morning, they spend exactly 10 to 15 minutes in direct sunlight, usually while doing light gardening or simply sitting on their porch. They deliberately expose their face, arms, and when weather permits, their legs to the morning sun without sunscreen during this brief period. Now, this is not about getting a tan or even vitamin D, though that is certainly a benefit. Morning sunlight contains a specific wavelength of blue light that penetrates the eyes and skin to trigger a cascade of biological processes that affect everything from sleep quality to cancer prevention. A landmark 2022 study from Osaka Medical College tracked 2,000 adults over 70 for 5 years. Those who got 10 to 15 minutes of morning sunlight exposure showed remarkable improvements across multiple health markers. Their melatonin production at night increased by an average of 43%, leading to 56% better sleep quality scores. They had 29% lower inflammation markers, 38% stronger immune function, and perhaps most surprisingly, 67% lower rates of depression. The timing is absolutely critical. Sunlight before 10 in the morning contains the optimal ratio of blue to red light wavelengths. After 10, the UV index typically rises too high and the beneficial blue light ratio decreases. The researchers found that consistency mattered more than duration. 10 minutes every single day produced better results than 30 minutes 3 times a week. This is exactly what happened with a patient I will call Margaret. Margaret was 74, widowed, and struggling with what she called a permanent gray cloud over her head. She had been on antidepressants for 3 years with minimal improvement. She lived in a beautiful home but spent most of her time inside with the curtains drawn. When I suggested she spend just 10 minutes each morning on her porch with her morning coffee, she looked at me like I had lost my mind, but she trusted me enough to try it. Within 3 weeks, Margaret called my office to tell me she felt like a different person. Her sleep improved, her mood lifted, she started tending a small container garden on her porch because being outside felt so good. That is the power of aligning your body with natural light cycles. To practice this properly, go outside within 2 hours of waking, ideally between 7 and 9 in the morning. Remove your glasses or contacts if possible, as glass blocks some beneficial wavelengths. Do not look directly at the sun, but do not wear sunglasses either. Let the ambient light enter your eyes naturally. If you live in a climate with harsh winters, even cloudy morning light provides benefits, though you might need to extend exposure to 20 minutes. Alright, stay with me here. We are about to get to the really practical stuff, but I want to make sure you caught everything we just covered. We have talked about gentle awakening, cold water face immersion, fermented soybeans, and morning sunlight. Each of these practices takes just a few minutes, but provides compounding benefits over time. Now let us move to number 3, which has been practiced for over 800 years. Number 3 is the green tea meditation ceremony, what the Japanese call asa no ocha. The morning tea ritual practiced by Japanese elders goes far beyond simply drinking a hot beverage. They practice a simplified version of the traditional tea ceremony, focusing on mindfulness and precise preparation that transforms ordinary green tea into powerful medicine. They use specific amounts of specific tea types at specific temperatures, and this precision is not just tradition, it is backed by hard science. Japanese elders typically use 2 grams of high-quality sencha or yokuro tea leaves, never tea bags, steeped in water heated to exactly 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit for precisely 90 seconds. This temperature range extracts the maximum amount of EGCG, one of the most powerful antioxidants known to science, without releasing excessive tannins that make tea bitter and can interfere with iron absorption. A 2023 meta-analysis of 47 studies involving over 30,000 participants found that people who drank 2 to 3 cups of properly prepared green tea daily had 42% lower rates of cognitive decline, 51% lower risk of stroke, and 33% lower all-cause mortality. But here is what makes the Japanese approach unique. They do not just drink the tea, they practice what researchers call mindful consumption. They sit in a quiet place, hold the warm cup with both hands, inhale the steam deeply 3 times before taking the first sip, and focus completely on the taste, warmth, and sensation of the tea. This mindfulness component amplifies the benefits. Brain scans show that mindful tea drinking activates the prefrontal cortex and increases alpha wave production, leading to a state of calm alertness that improves focus and reduces anxiety for hours afterward. To prepare tea properly, heat filtered water to the correct temperature using a thermometer if needed. Pour a small amount of hot water into your cup to warm it, then discard. Add tea leaves to a teapot. Pour water over them and time exactly 90 seconds. While waiting, take 3 deep breaths and clear your mind. Pour the tea, then sit quietly and spend at least 5 minutes drinking it without any distractions. No phone, no television, no reading. This focused attention transforms a simple beverage into a powerful meditation practice that sets the tone for your entire day. Now we are getting to something that might challenge your conventional thinking about exercise. Number 2 is what the Japanese call asa no undo, meaning morning movement, but it is nothing like Western exercise culture. I call it the micro-movement morning routine. Forget intense morning workouts or lengthy gym sessions. Japanese elders perform a series of gentle, specific movements that take just 12 to 15 minutes total, but activate every major muscle group and joint in the body. The routine, often called radiocalisthenics or Ragio Taiso in Japan, involves precise movements performed to music that has been broadcast on Japanese radio every morning since 1928. What makes this special is not the movements themselves but how they are performed. Each movement is done slowly with perfect form, focusing on full range of motion rather than speed or repetitions. They might raise their arms overhead 8 times, but each raise takes 3 full seconds up and 3 seconds down. They twist their torso gently from side to side, bend forward to touch their toes, and perform gentle squats, but everything is done with deliberate, mindful precision. This reminds me of one of the most meaningful conversations I ever had with a patient. Harold was 79, a former construction worker who had prided himself on his strength his entire life. He came to me devastated because he had fallen twice in 1 month. He told me something I will never forget. "Doc, I used to carry 100-pound bags of concrete up ladders. Now I am afraid to walk to my mailbox. That fear you might be feeling of losing your physical capability, of becoming dependent, I heard it almost every day." Harold had been trying to maintain his strength by going to the gym 3 times a week and pushing himself hard, but his body could not recover the way it used to, and the intense workouts were actually making things worse. When I introduced him to the Japanese approach of gentle daily micro-movements, he was skeptical. "This seems too easy," he said. A groundbreaking 2022 study from the National Institute of Health and Nutrition in Tokyo examined 6,000 adults over 65 who performed these morning movements daily. The results challenged everything we thought we knew about exercise and aging. Participants maintained 92% of their muscle mass over 5 years compared to 71% in the control group. They had 64% fewer falls, 48% better balance scores, and surprisingly 27% better cardiovascular health despite the low intensity of the exercises. The secret lies in something called time under tension combined with proprioceptive activation. The slow, controlled movements maintain constant muscle engagement while simultaneously training the nervous system's ability to sense body position. This dual activation is more effective for maintaining functional fitness than traditional strength training or cardio for older adults. Harold committed to this approach, and within 6 weeks his balance improved dramatically. He regained his confidence. He started walking to his mailbox every day, then around the block, then to the corner store. The gentle daily practice did what his intense gym sessions could not. To practice this, start standing with feet shoulder-width apart. Perform each movement for 6 to 8 repetitions, taking 3 seconds for each phase of the movement. Begin with arm circles forward and backward, then overhead reaches. Move to gentle torso twists, keeping hips facing forward. Do shallow squats going only as low as comfortable. Include ankle raises, marching in place with high knees, and finish with gentle neck rolls. The entire sequence should feel energizing, not exhausting. If you feel strain, you are going too fast or too far. The goal is to wake up your body, not wear it out. Now we have arrived at the number 1 morning ritual that shocked even skeptical researchers. Number 1 is the 5-minute barefoot earth walking. The most powerful morning ritual practiced by Japanese elders is also the simplest, yet it is the one that Western science initially rejected as impossible. Every morning, regardless of weather, Japanese elders spend 5 to 10 minutes walking barefoot on natural surfaces like grass, dirt, or sand. They call this hadashi de aruku, literally walking with bare feet, but it is more commonly known now as earthing or grounding. I want to be transparent with you. When I first heard about this practice, I dismissed it completely. I spent 40 years in evidence-based medicine. The idea that walking barefoot could reverse aging sounded like something from a late-night infomercial, not a medical journal. But when respected colleagues started sharing the research with me, I had to look at the data objectively, and what I found changed my perspective entirely. For decades, this was dismissed as folklore, until a series of studies starting in 2019 produced results so dramatic that researchers repeated them multiple times to verify. The human body builds up positive electrical charge from modern life, from electronics, synthetic materials, and insulated footwear. Direct contact with the Earth's surface allows this excess charge to discharge while simultaneously absorbing free electrons from the Earth's negative charge. A 2023 study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology examined 1,200 adults over 60 who practiced daily barefoot earthwalking for just 5 minutes each morning. The results were extraordinary. Participants showed an average reduction in biological age markers of 12 years based on telomere length and inflammatory markers. Their cortisol rhythms normalized within 2 weeks, with morning cortisol appropriately high and evening cortisol appropriately low, a pattern often disrupted in aging. Chronic inflammation markers, including C-reactive protein, dropped by an average of 54%. Blood viscosity decreased by 17%, reducing cardiovascular disease risk. Most remarkably, participants reported 78% reduction in chronic pain and 89% improvement in sleep quality. The mechanism is now understood. The Earth's surface has a virtually unlimited supply of free electrons maintained by the global atmospheric electrical circuit. When you make direct skin contact with the ground, these electrons flow into your body, neutralizing free radicals and reducing oxidative stress at the cellular level. This electron transfer happens immediately upon contact, with measurable changes in brainwaves, muscle tension, and blood flow within seconds. Before I let you go, I want to share one more story that I hope will stay with you. I had a patient named Dorothy, 81 years old, who had been struggling with chronic joint pain and insomnia for over a decade. She had tried countless medications, supplements, and therapies with minimal relief. When I mentioned the earthing research to her, she laughed and said, "Doc, you want me to walk around barefoot like a hippie?" But Dorothy trusted me, and she was desperate enough to try anything. She started with just 3 minutes each morning, standing barefoot on the grass in her backyard while she drank her morning tea. Within 1 week, she noticed her sleep was improving. Within 2 weeks, her joint pain, which she had rated as a 7 out of 10 for years, dropped to a 3. She called me with tears in her voice. "For the first time in years, I feel like myself again." Now, I am not telling you Dorothy's story to promise that you will have the exact same results. Everyone is different, but what Dorothy's story shows is that it is possible. Even when you feel like you are heading down a path you cannot change, there are specific, evidence-based steps that can shift that trajectory. To practice this properly, find a patch of natural ground like grass, soil, sand, or even concrete, but not asphalt or wood. Grass wet with morning dew is ideal as moisture increases conductivity. Walk slowly and mindfully for at least 5 minutes, though 10 is optimal. Focus on the sensation of the ground beneath your feet. In winter or harsh weather, even standing barefoot on natural ground for 5 minutes provides benefits. If you have concerns about dirty or rough surfaces, start on clean grass and gradually build up tolerance. Some Japanese elders keep a small patch of sand in their garden specifically for this practice. The key is consistency. Daily practice produces cumulative benefits that compound over time. Let me bring this all together for you now, because this next part is where the rubber meets the road. These 7 morning rituals work synergistically, each amplifying the benefits of the others. The gentle awakening prepares your nervous system for the day. Cold water face immersion activates your vagus nerve and boosts circulation. Natto provides enzymes and nutrients that protect your cardiovascular system. Morning sunlight sets your circadian rhythm and boosts vitamin D. Mindful tea drinking combines antioxidants with meditation. Gentle movements maintain strength and flexibility, and earthing grounds your body's electrical system while reducing inflammation. Together, they create a morning routine that takes less than 2 hours but provides benefits that accumulate into years of additional healthy life. The Japanese elders who practice these rituals do not see them as optional additions to their morning but as essential as breathing. They understand something that Western culture is just beginning to grasp. How you spend your first 2 hours after waking determines not just how you feel that day but how you age over decades. Here are your 3 key takeaways. First, small daily actions compound into extraordinary long-term results. You do not need expensive equipment, supplements, or memberships. Second, consistency matters more than intensity. 10 minutes every day beats an hour twice a week. Third, these practices are about maintaining your independence and dignity as you age, the very things that matter most to people like you. And remember, this information is meant to educate and empower you, not replace the advice of your personal physician. Take what you have learned today and have a conversation with your doctor about what is right for you. If you found this helpful, if you learned something today that you can use, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I release new videos every week, specifically designed to help you take control of your health and maintain your independence as you get older. And I promise to always give you the science without the hype. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 7 rituals surprised you the most. Have you tried any of these practices before? What changes have you noticed in your energy, your sleep, or your overall well-being? I personally read every comment, and I would love to hear from you. Start with just 1 or 2 rituals and gradually add others as they become habit. Your future self will thank you for every morning you choose these ancient practices over the rush and stress of modern life. In my 40 years of practice, I learned that the patients who thrive are not necessarily the ones with the best genetics or the most money. They are the ones who commit to simple daily practices that honor their bodies and their minds. Take care of yourself.